School is the reason that you're failing. And not just for the obvious reasons, like they taught you nothing about the world and a whole bunch of random bullshit that's not necessary to help you progress in life or conducive to you going about the world in a helpful and productive manner, but because of what it is that they led you to believe. Whenever you're a child, you start off sitting down in a classroom and you do your various fucking assignments, whether they be math or history or science or I don't know, some sort of language based thing. And all of those assignments, while different subjects, have one thing in common, and that is at some point you are going to be tested on them. And on that test, there is right answers and wrong answers. Say you're taking a history test. The answer to question number 7 could be found on page 13 of chapter 1 in your history textbook. Anything that is not in that paragraph is not the correct answer. You can't find the answer anywhere else. Same thing goes with math. There is 2 plus 2, that equals 4. There is no other correct answer, and that applies to whatever level of math it is that you were taking, be that geometry, algebra, whatever the fuck. There is one correct answer to the word problems, to the questions, to whatever it is that you might find on whatever quiz and or test. And that applies through all grade levels from the time that you're in kindergarten to the time that you're in 12th grade, or even whenever it is that you go off to college. Even when you go write an essay in some capacity, you're writing it on something. It's not just you pontificating and putting your own thoughts down on paper with no prompt or anything like that. So while you're left more to your own devices with your essay, there is still some form of correct thing to go about. So you spend 12 to 14 years going through the world being shown that there are right answers and wrong answers to everything. And there is one singular place to find the correct answers, and everything else is wrong. And if you look hard enough, you can eventually find the right answer. And that is how it is that you are conditioned from the time that you were a child. And then you go out into the real world, you go out into life, and you apply the exact same logic that you used going throughout school. Why wouldn't you? It's all that you've ever known, and it's been the only way for you to progress thus far. But when you get out into life, things change, especially when you want to go separate from the standard 9 to 5 corporate ladder type thing. And even with your own personal life, people take these same lessons that there is only one right answer and one way to find it and apply it to everything. This is why people wind up not being able to go and get in shape, separate from the fact that they're lazy. But this is why people wind up not being able to go to the gym and find success, because they believe that there is one singular correct way to work out. They believe there is a singular correct way to eat. And because of that, a lot of people get caught up in searching for these things forever, but never come to the point where they can actually take action on something. This is why people get caught up with the shit and they say there's way too much information out there. And there is and there isn't. Yes, there's a lot of information, but that's only a problem when you believe that there is one singular way to do everything, that it becomes too much. How do you siphon through all of it? How do you figure out what's bullshit and what is not? How do you figure out what's right and what is wrong? The truth of the matter is that there is no right way to do a thing. If you look at the working out as a continuing that example, there are people who do high volume training, who do low volume training. There are people who do bodybuilding. There are people who do powerlifting, strongman, Olympic lifting, calisthenics, CrossFit, whatever the fuck it else is that you can think of, and are in the exact shape that you would like to be in. Because all of these methods, as long as you do them consistently enough, will get you to where it is that you would like to be. There's not one right way to train. There's not one right way to eat. As people go, you see them arguing about their carnivore and paleo and vegan and high fat and low fat and high carbs and low carbs and fasting and all of that shit. There are people who do every single one of these things. There are people who eat once a day. There are people who eat every 2 hours. There are people who only eat meat. There are people who only eat vegetables. There are people who only or eat some combination of all of those things. The people who eat lots of carbs, people who eat no carbs, all of whom have gotten into great and amazing shape. There are jacked and lean people who follow all different types of eating plans. There are people who track everything they eat religiously, and there are people who eat intuitively, who get into great shape, because there is no right way to do these things. And all of the people online arguing about what is the best way, my carnivore shit is better than your vegan shit, who gives a fuck? If they both work, it doesn't make a fucking difference. And this is what it is that complicates shit for people, is the search for the correct, proper way to do these things. And one of the things that gets people one of the things that keeps people from getting started is that they are afraid to fail. And one of the things that makes people believe that they are afraid to fail is they believe there's a right way to do something, and not doing something the right way will lead to them failing. That is not the fucking case. As we've discussed before, the only way to fail is to either not get started or to give up when shit gets difficult. But all of this idea, this belief that you're going to find the best way to do something is bullshit. The best way to do a thing is to do a thing. If you want to go to the gym and get in shape, the best thing to do is go to the gym and start working out, start lifting some fucking weights, or learn calisthenics, because that shit fucking works too. All of it works as long as you do it. This is not school. This is not a test. This is not math class. This is not 10th grade history. There is not one place to find the correct answer, and there is not one correct answer. In fact, almost all answers other than just not doing it are the correct answer. It is the exact same thing if you want to go and start some form of business. There is no one correct business model. There is no one right way to start a business. There is no singular optimal way, and everything other than that will lead you to failure. But people believe that, and that prevents them from getting started, which ironically is the only fucking failure. People run all sorts of businesses all sorts of different ways. Lots of people advertise, some people do organic shit, people create products, people sell other people's products, people do all kinds of different fucking things. None of them are correct. The one that will be correct for you is the one that you are going to adopt and stick to, and you will waste and lose so much time looking for the optimal, best/correct thing to do, because there is not that thing. It does not exist. Same thing, people ask me about making content and shit all of the time too. There is no accurate or one size fits all or only one correct solution to do it. People will tell you need to do fucking hashtags, and I don't know anything about any of that shit. I just make shit and I put it out and it fucking works. Some people put all this other shit into it. They do all their fancy little edits and whatnot, and their cool little fucking cover photo, thumbnails, whatever the fuck it is that you call them, and they do all of these different things, and that works for fucking them. But there is not a singular right way, and school has led you to believe that there is only one right way to move about the world, and that is why most people stay stuck, because there are millions of different paths, and it is impossible to try and figure out what is the right path to take. And most people, that's where they get the thing, paralysis by analysis. But there's not really anything to fucking analyze. Pick a path that you think works best for you and follow the fucking path. If you want to go to the gym and you don't want to do a bunch of weird ass curl variations and 98 million sets of different things, you don't have to fucking do that. People get great results doing different shit. You could find the shit that works best for you and do that. It's not going to be wrong. The only wrong thing is not to do it. There's not a right way, there's not a proper way, there's not a correct way, there's not the chosen or whatever the fuck it is way, despite what all of these people arguing on the internet would like you to believe. If you would like to start a business, pick whatever the fuck is going to work best for you and do that and scale it. There is an audience, and a market for all things. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It's not oversaturated or undersaturated. It just is. You can go exist in whatever space it is that you would like to exist in if you're going to commit to it and work towards it and do what it takes to be successful in that space. Do whatever the fuck is necessary to succeed in that space, and you will succeed in that space. And if you do it consistently, eventually you will be successful at it, you will move forward, and you will grow. And going back to the school thing, interestingly enough, the one thing that they do teach you, that they instill upon you, that is actually useful to you navigating the world and to your growth, is the one thing that people seem to think is insignificant, and some of the more bitchier people in the world think it's damaging to your mental health, and that other things should be prioritized. But if you show up to school every single day, they will give you a perfect attendance award. Or maybe they don't do that anymore because, again, the pussy ass mental health people, whatever the fucking case may be. But at the very least, once upon a time, if you show up to class every single day, they will give you a what I call it, perfect attendance award for just for coming every single day. And in order to do that, in order to get a perfect attendance award, you're going to have to come regardless of how it is that you're feeling. You're going to have to come regardless of if you're tired. You're going to have to come regardless of if you're a little sick or whatnot, or maybe it's cold outside and you forgot a jacket, whatever the fucking case may be. You just have to be there every single day and raise your hand. The little teacher do a little check-in or however the fuck it is that they take attendance now. You just have to show up every single day and you will get this award. And that is probably the most valuable thing that they will teach you in school, because that is how you succeed at any areas in life, is consistently and showing up every single day regardless of how the fuck it is that you feel. The person who will get in the best shape in the gym is not the person who spent hours, days, months, weeks, and years Googling to find the perfect workout plan. It is the person who will go to the gym and put in the work regardless of how it is that they are feeling that day. Even if you're not motivated, even if you're tired, even if you're feeling a little bit sick, even if you have other shit going on and you have to get in a shorter workout than usual, if you are the type of person who will make it work regardless, then you are the type of person who is going to get in shape. The diet that's going to get you in shape is the one that you are going to stick to, regardless of the fact that sometimes you are feeling hungry or having late night cravings or don't want to eat whatever the fuck it is that you decided that you were going to eat that day because you saw a billboard for a Whopper, drove by a Burger King, and wanted to go get it. It is the person who will do the thing consistently, who will show up every single day and do the work that is required to the best of their ability in that moment. Obviously, that will fluctuate based on the days. Some days you won't be feeling it, some days you will be, some days you'll have more energy than others, but whatever the fucking case may be, the point is showing up every single day and working as best as you can on that day. That is what's going to take you to where it is that you would like to go. That is the thing that should be highlighted in school, at least of the current curriculums. And again, if they still give out the perfect attendance award, if they don't, then fuck it. Either way, point still stands. But the point is, that's the only useful thing it is that they teach you, is to show up every single fucking day, regardless of how it is you feel. That's who will be in the best shape. That's who will be the leanest. That's who will make the most money. That's the person who will have the best relationships. That is the person who will succeed in all areas of life, is the person who fucking does it the most, even when they don't feel like it. Because that's when everyone stops doing the thing. People skip their workouts because they're tired or they weren't motivated. People cheat on their diet because they had a hard day or they were craving something else and it's just this one time. Or people won't work towards whatever goal it is that they had because they're having a difficult mental health day and they were feeling sad and down. They could put it off till tomorrow and everything will be fine. That's the person who's going to wind up with a mediocre life, not the person who didn't follow the perfect one right business plan. It's the person who found excuses to not do what it is that they are supposed to do, because it's very easy to talk yourself out of these things. Going back to the kid thing, it's very easy to come up with reasons to not want to go to school. Maybe they were making fun of you. Maybe, I don't know, you're going to fight somebody the next fucking day. Who the fuck knows? Maybe you have a test that you're unprepared for. Point is, it's very easy to come up with reasons to try and not go to school. But they acknowledge you doing that because it's difficult. It is a hard thing to do, and it is what it is that will dictate your success better than any other single thing in fucking life. Not finding the perfect program, not finding the perfect diet, not finding the perfect business plan, not finding the one correct way to do the thing, but doing whatever the fuck it is that you decide to do consistently every single day, regardless of how the fuck it is that you feel. And honestly, if they just taught you math and how to read and then gave you that and told you the point of why they were giving you that and the lessons that it would instill in you, that would save you all kinds of years of schooling, of learning nonsensical shit about what it is that plants eat and fucking photosynthesis and made up lies about history and the fucking not mythical, made up fucking stories of history about the lies about fucking Britain and the origins of America and all of that shit. But that's a whole entire other topic for another day. The point is, currently, all of the shit that you learned in school is doing nothing but holding you back. More so than the nonsensical knowledge, it is the conditioning. It is what you were conditioned to look for. It is what is you were conditioned to believe, and how it is that you were conditioned to behave, which is that you must find the one correct thing and everything else is wrong. That is absolutely bullshit. The only wrong thing is to not do what the fuck it is that you were supposed to do. The only wrong thing is to not try and figure out what the fuck it is that you were supposed to do. The only, wrong thing is to take days off when you are feeling unhappy or down or whatever the fucking case may be. Show up every single day and do some shit. In whatever area it is, you will continuously grow and progress because you will learn lessons along the way that will help you go farther. There are people who spend years reading about all kinds of gym shit and are in absolutely terrible shape. They're all over fucking YouTube and Instagram too. If you don't believe me, go take a look. All of these motherfuckers talking, there's a bunch of people talking about scientific shit who don't look like they've ever lifted a weight a day in their life. This is not a knock specifically to people who are interested in that scientific type shit. If you look at people like Lane Norton, he's won all kinds of world powerlifting championships and shit. So again, there's multiple ways to do things. One of those ways happens to be following the research and basing all of your fucking programs off of that. But that's not a thing that you need to do, because there are a lot of people who don't do that. There are a lot of people who don't understand biomechanics or movement or even know the names of the individual muscles, but they just go and they show up and dedicate themselves to working as hard as they can on individual days, and they take their own feedback that they get from doing what it is that they're doing and how their body is responding and how they're looking over time, and they pivot and alter their training accordingly to what it is that they are learning along the way. And it works out fucking great. There are fucking people who have won world championships, however it is that they quantify bodybuilding things, who don't know any of that fancy shit. There are people who know all of the fancy shit and win all of that stuff too. So it is all in what it is that you are willing to dedicate yourself to and willing to work towards. Everything else is bullshit.